All right, I think we are good. I'm just going to record here just to make sure, but let's do it. So, let's hop over to trading economics to double check and see what's happening there, see what the investors are preparing for, and then we'll dive into the charts. Copy. Cool deal. So, boom. And so, Fed set to raise rates by 25 basis points. All right, the Federal Reserve is widely expected to raise its target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points, the highest since January 2001. Resuming its tightening campaign after a pause in June, investors will closely monitor any clues about the Fed's future plans, particularly whether it's done with the rate hikes or if it still intends to increase borrowing costs further. All right. So that's what everybody's expecting. So what we're going to be looking for are the words that are chosen by Chairman Powell to see if they're going to continue in the future with more rate hikes, or this is their last, right? So that's what we want to listen to, and that's what we want to see is what happens going forward. Change. That's what we're looking for going forward. So that is where we will keep our eyes for the Fed, right? So next, Eurozone lending growth cools to a seven-year low. Then you had Euro natural gas rebounds further, and then European shares mixed on earnings and Fed meetings. So it's just a sit and wait from a Fed perspective until we get that news. Last night, Australian Q2 inflation rate slowed more than expected, right? So this inflation rate, 6% year on year in the second quarter of 2023, down from 7% in the previous period, and below the market forecast was 6.2. This marked the lowest figure since the third quarter of 2022, primarily driven by the slowdown in goods inflation. Notably, inflation decelerated for food, furniture, appliances, and clothes, while automotive fuel prices declined as well. In contrast, services inflation accelerated, the highest since the introduction of the GST in 2001. This surge driven by higher price in various services categories, including rents, restaurant meals, holiday travel, insurance. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of Australia mean CPI, which is what they're looking at, rose by 5.9% year on year, marking the slowest growth in a year, but still remaining well above the central bank's target range of 2 to 3%. So things are starting to cool down in Australia. So investors starting to price in either another pause, right, or a lower rate hike in the future. So that's it from a trading economics. Over to the calendar here. looking forward to today. Here's the data from last night, the CPI there. And then this morning, right, new home sales at 10 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock. We have the FOMC statement, federal funds rate, and the press conference at 2:30, right? So we'll get the link posted in the Discord so that we can watch that and see how things go and hear the words that Fed Chair Powell says as he has that conversation and how he answers the questions that will be coming. So that's it from a fundamental perspective. Any questions fundamentally?
Yes, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to know if the Feds raise the interest, does it make the dollar go up or it comes down?
So couple things here, right? If we're just looking at the funds rate, if it's increased, in theory, it would go up, but we're looking at what's expected versus what's not expected, right? And how the investors take that information. So if they just do 25 basis points and Fed Chair Powell says that they don't plan on doing any more hikes, right? That's going to be a dovish tone, meaning that they're slowing down, and investors are looking forward, right? They're looking ahead to see what's happening next. They've already priced in this 25 basis point increase here, right? So if they increase by 25 basis points, then it's going to be based on the words that Chairman Powell chooses during his press conference and what's said in their actual statement, their written statement. So investors, they've already priced in this 25 basis points already, right? Now, if the Fed goes above 25 basis points and goes 30 or 50, right, then that would cause the dollar to jump or increase. And then if they come in lower than 25 basis points, that will cause the dollar to sink, more of a dovish tone. So it's not necessarily based on just the number, it's based on the number and what's happening in the future, right? And that's going to be the statement, the press conference, and the words that Chairman Powell chooses as he's answering the questions in that press conference. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And also I read on Al Jazeera that the Feds had already put they have put the rates on hold. So how credible is that?
That's what happened last month. They held rates last month. This information is just, it won't be released until 2 o'clock today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions from a fundamental perspective? No? All right, cool deal. Over to the chart. So we'll take a look at the dollar. While we're taking a look at the dollar, if you guys have any pairs you want me to take a look at, drop those in the chat for me, and we will take a look at those at the beginning this morning. So here on the DXY, right, the dollar's still pulling back. We got this level of support here at 12,737. Looking to see what happens at the support level. Okay. What happens at the support level? That's going to be key for us to see and follow. As we get closer to that 2 o'clock time frame, we could see this continue to press to the downside, right? Or it could turn and push to the upside ahead of that statement. So we'll watch the dollar and see how it moves to give us insight on what could happen next. If this level of support, right, which comes from this low point here, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, if this support level holds and we see price turn over, right, and we're looking bullish, could be because there's more of a hawkish tone from Chairman Powell during that statement. If it is bearish and we push below this level, we could see a retest and a continuation to the downside, heading to this next low level. All right, so that's where we are on the dollar. Still in this retracement phase right now. All right, cool deal. So that's where we sit there. Let's see, CAD yen. Read my mind, Kiki. So CAD yen, from a daily perspective. From a daily, go. No, we'll say here on the daily. So we got a deep retracement here, right? But you got to remember we're against the yen right now. So everything is still running against the yen. They haven't changed any of their policies. So we had this retracement off of this daily resistance level here, confirmed that resistance there, pushed down, right? Created a new level of support, which is here. Boom, right? Came back, retested the zone of consolidation, right? Which we also had over here as well. And then we started making our way to the upside. So had a nice, strong bearish move. We took back some of that move and we're pulling back now. So we want to see, right? Do we continue this move to the upside or do we continue pressing down? The other thing that we have coming up is tomorrow, right? Bank of Japan monetary policy. So they're not expected to change anything right now. It's expected to stay the same. So between today and tomorrow, we could see either this continue to the downside to the support level, give us a double bottom type look, or this could be just a short-term pullback for then price to continue to the upside, right? Ultimately, I'm looking at this going to the upside after this pullback is complete. So down to the lower time frame here, right, on the 4, here's your fib, right? This was the 80-20 scenario that we saw. Price pushed down to a 618 retracement level, that TP2, right? And then started making its way to the upside. So looking here, and we're looking at the potential for this to continue to the upside, right? We broke the cloud, strong bullish move. We're coming back to retest the cloud. This is on the 4-hour now, right? Coming back to retest the cloud, we have a bullish cloud ahead. So this gives me more confirmation that we are looking long. We got the bullish cloud ahead here. So this is the pullback and a retest of the cloud, right? Similar to your pullback and retest of the trend line. One thing we can do to track this move to the upside is we can run a sub fib here and look at the move here, right? So this is our fresh AB boundary. Pullback, we're sitting at an 8-6 retracement right now. So let's see if we stay inside this AB boundary, okay, on the 4-hour. If we stay inside this AB boundary, right, we'll look to continue long. If we don't, we'll flip the fib and run it to the downside and see where our next targets are, and then see if we get a reversal from there, okay? But that's on the 4-hour. So this gives me confirmation of price moving to the upside here. This is just a retracement phase, and then looking for price to turn back over and continue to the upside, okay? So now on the 1, similar look, right? 8-6 retracement. We did break down and break the cloud here, right? But as Benny talked about last night, how on a higher time frame you can have a pullback, but on the lower time frame, the 1-hour, you could see that AB boundary potentially get taken out, right? So we'll watch this. We're sitting at an 8-6 retracement right now. We'll see if we get this push to the upside here in that continuation long, right? So that's what I'm looking for on this one at some point, right? Be it now or later, for price to turn back over and press to the upside. The other thing that we have is we have a lower time frame, this range here on the lower time frame that we're also retesting, right? Also retesting that range, right? Consolidation there, and that same consolidation happened here as well, right? So we're retesting these support levels. So we'll see if we get a bounce out of this zone in a continuation long. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, is price to turn over here. questions on the CAD yen? Kiki, what are you looking at for this one?
Yeah, I was actually looking for, I was actually waiting on this retracement to finish so I could take a buy.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Yeah, be patient and allow it to give you confirmations. But I'm looking for the same thing. Looking for the same thing. Good deal. All right. Any other questions on this CAD yen? No. All right. CAD yen, dollar yen. Let's go. Dollar yen still in its retracement phase. Right, it's slowly coming down. We're sitting at this previous resistance level right now, this B boundary, right? So trying to make its way down out of this 80-20 zone. But we want to see what happens here, right? It's going to be a lot dependent on the FOMC meeting, right? In that press conference. So got to wait and be patient here, right? To see if we get another push to the downside before we continue long, right? This is on a 1 hour, so I'll back up in a second, but this is the 80-20 that we're looking at here. It started to make its move, right? And it's made a decent move to the downside off the high, right? 150 pips. So if you're in this short, right, just monitor your trade here, because things can get wacky around that 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock time frame. So you want to be cautious in this move, just to protect any profit that you may have. All right. So let's bounce back higher time frame, because overall we are looking long here. That's on the 4. Let's go to the daily. All right. So on the daily, maybe. There we go. So on the daily, okay, 618 retracement. And again, right, we're short on the yen. Okay. So if we're short on the yen, we're looking for this to continue moving to the upside. We have a strong bullish move here, and we're looking at this retracement, looking for a low price to then get back long. Right. Bias on this one is to the upside. And so even if the Fed comes in dovish, if the Fed comes in dovish, right, could see this push a little bit lower, okay, but then ultimately looking for it to turn around and continue pushing to the upside. All right, we got that Bank of Japan rate statement tomorrow, right? So looking for pullback and then a continuation there, okay? So watching that evolve there. Coming down to the 4, right? That AB boundary got taken out, so we're looking to the upside here. Boom. Okay, here's your 80-20 scenario on the 4 as well, right? Trying to make its way down, and we could potentially get to this TP1 level, right, before 2 o'clock. But again, just be cautious as price is moving down. If you're in this trade, make sure your profit is protected, or you close the trade ahead of that rate statement, just to ensure that you're good. Just to make sure that you protect your profit there. Okay. So that's the 4 hour coming down to the 1. And there's your similar look on the 1. Okay. Moves to the downside more recently, got a strong bearish move there, right? So we'll continue to monitor this to see how deep this goes before we get a move to the upside. 80-20 on the 30-minute. Let's see, Reese. Yeah. So if you're short-term trader, right? Scalper, here's an opportunity for you. Appreciate that, Reese. Right? 80-20 on the 30-minute time frame. So this could look like something like this here. maybe you get a pullback to that 382 level, retesting this consolidation, and then a continuation to the downside as we move through the day, right? And then giving us a low price to get back long. Right? So that's what that could potentially look like. But if you're looking for short-term scalp potential opportunity, there that is right there. Okay. All right. So that's the dollar yen. Questions there? No. All right. Cool deal. 1 second. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing great. Fed day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sitting tight, waiting patiently to
That's
see
it.
what goes down.
Yep. And from the looks of things, that's what the market is doing too.
Yeah, super slow motion, man.
Yep.
Super slow motion.
Yep. So the only thing I've entered is that I did enter that pound CAD, but that's about it.
That pound catch to the upside.
Yep. Yep.
Yep,
I did.
yep.
That one's up pretty decent, like 40 something pips. I think it is. I think it might be more than that. I have to take a look at, but that's about it. Other than that, I'm just relaxing and waiting to see what the Fed's gonna say.
Yeah, man. I held that one, so I'm still sitting in that one to the upside
Yep.
from last week. So
Good.
but yep. So we'll see what happens, man.
For sure.
Shall see what happens. Cool deal. So over to Joy wants to look at the euro yen. So all the yen crosses this morning. So on this euro yen, look, retracing, right? We know we got that rate statement tomorrow for the euro, right? So we're pulling back off the highs. We didn't get to that daily and that monthly D extension yet. That's this red line, this black line here. We're pulling back right now. So we want to see how deep this retracement comes, right? What happens with the euro throughout the day today and tomorrow. So we want to watch that because right now we got a double top scenario, right? So it'll be interesting to see how deep this continues before we get price to turn over and push to the upside, right? So we'll watch this closely as we're just consolidating right now. Coming down to the 4, right? We talked about this trend line yesterday. I think it was yesterday. There we go. We want to see, there it is, right? So we're sitting right at that trend line right now. And we want to see, does this trend line hold or does it get broken? Okay. Does it hold or does it get broken? We're sitting right at it right now. Selfishly, I would love for it to hold and push up. Again, I want to see this daily and monthly extension levels get hit. That's what I want to see here. So yes, we do have an 80-20 scenario here. Ultimately, we're just in a range right now. We're coming down. We'll see if we break that range to the downside. But ultimately, I want to see price push to the upside to get to these levels. So that could take its time and see if we get a push to the upside at some point, right? I do need to drop in this support level here. Right here, boom. All right, so we got that support level there. And we'll take that down. All right, so that's what I'm looking for here to see what happens. If we do break that, then we'll look at the support level at 153.386 to see if we ultimately get range bound and we're able to push back to the upside there. Okay, so trend line is first, then this support level is second, right? So in order to get short on this, I need both of those broken in order to look at that price of the downside, but that would also call for the ECB to be extremely dovish here. So, and the Bank of Japan to potentially make changes in their tone, which I don't expect that to happen. So that's what I'm looking at here. Do we get a break of the trend line, and then do we get a break of the support level at 153.386? Coming down to the 1, right? On this 1 hour, we're pushing into a sweet spot, right? Off the B boundary, we're headed to TP2. Okay, I didn't trade this to the downside. I don't take the trades off the B boundary. So I just let this one ride. And so now we're looking at price coming into that sweet spot here. So I want to see if we able to push down a little bit further, get into that zone, right? And then see if we get a reversal to the upside. Like that, right? So this one also sitting patiently to see price push into that zone here. Okay, that's what I want to see. So this one I'm sitting tight, looking for a low price to get long. Okay, looking for a low price to get long. All right, questions on this euro yen? Another 80-20 on the euro yen, 30-minute. Yep. Wouldn't be surprised by that. Let's see. Yep, another short-term opportunity here, right? Potentially a pullback and then a continuation to the downside, getting into our sweet spot. If we get that push there, right? So another scalping opportunity for those short-term traders, right? Looking at TP1 here at 156.096. Just again, protect your trade. If you're looking at this, make sure your confirmations are met to take this trade, because we could see this turnover and just continue pushing to the downside, right? You see, it's just been making its way down here, pushing to that 118 and 127 zone, didn't get to TP1 there, turn back over and press down, right? So we'll watch this closely to make sure your confirmations are met and see if you get to a TP1 level there. Okay. Yeah. So that is the euro yen. Again, looking for a low price to get long. Okay. Low price to get long. So on the 1, right, running that same sub fib I ran on the 30-minute, right? If we do push down here, get into this 118 and 127 zone, there's something to look out for, Reese, right? If you took that trade, watch for price to turn over and push back down into this 118 and 127 zone on the 1, right? We could push deeper, get to that 618 retracement, and potentially turn around in this zone here. So just be cautious of that. Yeah, but that's where we wait on confirmation. Perfect. Yep. So let's see if we get this action here. Push down into this 118 and 127 zone on the sub fib, which will put us right into our sweet spot on this 1 hour capital fib, right? And then we'll look for price to turn over and make its way to the upside. Okay. Questions here on this euro yen?
No, sir.
Cool deal. I think Kiki is, look, it's practice, intentional practice over time. Like literally implementing and forcing myself to sit on my hands when a trade is going in my favor and I have a longer term projection, right? So that's what that spirit comes from. Come from tons of trial and error, me holding some trades too long that I know my bias has changed, from closing trades too early when they're going in my favor and I have a longer term projection, going back and looking at my notes and implementing what I learned and forcing myself to sit on my hands. So that's where that spirit comes from. So keep at it. You're making good progress. So Yeah. Yes, Carolyn, on this account here, I started this account with $300 and I am trading micros on this. So yeah, just small trades, allowing them to go to their destinations and taking profit when they get there. So just again, forcing the discipline to ensure that, right, I'm able to grow the account over time. Okay. One step, right? Focus on your path and the things that you're learning and then implement, right? That's the biggest thing, man, is ensuring that you're taking the notes on the journey, right? Understanding how you feel, what you see, what you saw, how you felt when you did this, how you felt when you did that, so that you can understand those feelings as they continue to come up in the future, and you have a plan on how to attack those, right? To ensure that your plan stays intact, right? But then also ensuring that you have a specific plan that you're following, right? And don't deviate from that plan. So you got it. Continue taking the steps, right? It's all about 1% every day. What lesson can we learn? What opportunity can we take advantage of? And then we do it all over again the next day, right? And just focusing on the process. So cool deal. What's next? Euro GBP. Let's look at it. All right, Benny broke it down for us last night. Boom. So daily time frame. This is the larger fib on the daily. We're sitting at a 786 retracement level here, right? 786 retracement level had a double bottom scenario here. We pushed off the low. We're coming back to retest that previous consolidation zone, right? So 786 retracement. Want to see if we're able to break above this daily level at 86,951 to continue long, right? Or do we stay in this range for a little while longer, right? And see the markup that I have here. Let's see what happens as this thing moves. Okay, coming down to the 4. There's your fib on the 4, right? And this just basically shows your consolidation, right? Not able to break above that level and take out that A, but also not able to break that B boundary here. So we want to see what transpires in this back and forth to see if we get price to turn over and take that high out and continue pushing to the upside. All right, coming down to the 1, this is where you get some confluence between the 1 hour and the daily. Okay, got your fibs running off the low in that range, right? And we're sitting at a 786 retracement, trying to get bullish here. Okay, trying to get bullish. So if we do get price to turn over and push to the upside, then we could, right, have that opportunity, the longer opportunity on this move here, right? But again, this daily level is going to come into play, and so we'll have to watch things when we get there, right? But we could see price turn over and make its way to the upside here. Okay, let's see, still a ways away from the cloud there, right? So you can either use the cloud or the trend lines. Something like this. I don't know why I turned that orange. But trend lines like that, boom, right? Do we get a break of the trend line, push to the upside? Okay, so patiently waiting here, see if we get these confirmations of that move to the upside. We know this one can be pretty finicky, right? So be patient and allow that trend line to get broken, right? Or if you use the cloud as your confirmation, allow price to break the cloud, and then we can look at that move to the upside. Okay, so patience there, right? We got rate statement coming tomorrow for the euro. So, but that's the look on this euro GBP. Questions here? Carolyn, that's going to be dependent on your trading plan, right? Talking about breaks of the trend line. So we talk about it. You hear Benny say all the time, right? There's no perfect trade. There's no perfect entry, right? So if you're trying to time an entry, that most times won't work in your favor, but it's all about having the confirmation. So yeah, we look at a trend line break and then enter the trade because we place our stop out of the way. So if it's in this scenario, right? If you get a trend line break here, right? If you get a trend line break here, right? We're going to place our stop outside the A anyway, right? Because we place the stop on these moves, on these deep retracement moves in the sweet spot, we place our stop outside the A, right? So we're not looking to time this entry and have zero or no drawdown. We know that the market moves in waves and it could push deeper, but as long as it stays inside that A boundary, price doesn't take out the A, it's going to go our way. So our confirmation is if you use a trend line break. If it's the cloud break, right? And then you take entry on the trade. But if you write in your trading plan that you're going to wait for a break and a retest, right, or a break and a pullback, that's cool, right? Just make sure you're consistent in doing that every single time, right? So that you can track your progress there, all right? So develop the patience and the discipline to watch that trend line get broken and then wait for the pullback to come whenever that is, and then take your trade there. But at the end of the day, still going to place your stop outside the A and out of the way so that price can do its thing, because it could still, that price still could pull back further, right? Could go deeper into that zone. And then ultimately, right, if it does hit your stop, it could do that as well. So either way, just make sure that you're consistent in what you do. Consistent action, you're able to get consistent results over time. So you want to be consistent whichever way you choose on that. All right, because you can, right? There's a lot of people that wait for the break and then wait for a pullback and then take the entry from there, and that's cool, right? That's cool. Just like I said, it's all about the consistency there, right? Whichever way you choose on those confirmations. Okay. Cool. Any other questions on this Euro GBP? No? All right. Cool deal. I'm gonna take a quick peek at this Euro NZD. Let's see. So press down here. This trade should no longer be open, but we'll let it ride. So 382 on the retracement, right? I'm kind of stuck in a range here, top of the range, coming back down, retesting previous resistance here, and we're stalling a bit, right? Coming down to the 4. This is where we are on the 4, right? 618 retracement, trying to make our way to the D extension, which is here at 188.883, right? So ultimately we're long, just looking for price to make its mind up here in this consolidation to start, moving to the upside. All right, coming down to the 1. Here we are, right? Pressing down, we took out this previous A boundary, right? And when I flip the fib, shallow retracement, we just continue to extend to that D extension here, right? I placed my stop way out of the way here. That was an error on my part. I should be out of this trade already. But price is trying to turn over here. We don't have a new AB boundary just yet, but it would look like this. And price is turning over here, right? So if price continues moving to the upside, we'll want to see our cloud confirmations, a break of the cloud and continuation long there, right? So we're starting to turn over. We'll see what happens throughout the day today and tomorrow with a statement out of the ECB. I am going to close this. So waiting on that statement out of the ECB, right? But we'll see if price continues moving to the upside there. Okay. So it is slowly moving there, right? But we want to wait for those confirmations and see if we get that push then. Okay. This one is in between right now, right? Depends on what happens with the ECB tomorrow, because we could see just a retest of a cloud and continuation short, right? So we're kind of stuck in the middle right now. Okay, so looking long overall, but could we come back down and retest this 174,720 potentially? Right. So just being patient, see what happens with the ECB tomorrow. Okay, so not a ton actually happening here. All right, questions on the Euro NZD? Nope. Okay, cool deal. I want to take a look at this CAD Swiss. Still bouncing around at the support. All right, weekly support here. We got an 80-20 on the daily time frame. And price is just taking its time, right? I haven't gotten to the D extension yet. So, haven't gotten to the D extension yet, right? So as long as we stay above this weekly level, right? I'm looking long here. Okay, as long as we stay above this weekly level, I'm long. If we break this level, D extension get hit and we could head further. Okay, could head further. So we'll see how things continue to move throughout the week here. Coming down to the 4. Here's your 80-20 scenario, shallow retracement 118 127 zone. Had a nice push here on the 4, got to a TP1, right? And now we're pulling back. Okay, so again, right, looking to see what happens. We're retesting previous consolidation here. Excuse me. So we'll see what happens on this one to see if we get price to turn back over and if it continues to respect that weekly support level. So coming down to the 1, this is what you have on the 1, right? Your larger fib is here. Okay. Your larger fib is here, and we haven't gotten to that TP1 on this larger fib yet. Okay. Almost got there, just missed it though, right? So coming back down to the downside now, and if we look at the smaller waves or your sub fib, right, we got a 786 retracement. So looking to see if price turns back over and continues to head long here, right? So ultimately that's my biases to the upside. So I'm sitting tight here. If we get price to turn over, right, and we get some confirmations, I'll look for an opportunity to add to my trade as price continues to move to the upside, right? So and this is one that I've been sitting in for a bit as well. So we'll see what transpires here as price continues to move. Okay. So that's the CAD Swiss. Questions here? Nope. All right.
Nope, we're all good.
Let's take a look at that pound CAD that Benny was talking about. Daily, right? This is the look. 382 pushing to the upside, right? Bias is long here. And we're moving, right? Had that crown pattern here, beautiful move, strong pullback, but came back and retested the support level, previous resistance also, right? And now we're pushing to the upside. Okay, now we're pushing to the upside. So coming down to the 4, I missed this opportunity to add to this trade, but came down to the 4, 618 retracement, pushing back to the upside. Boom. right? So we're moving back long. Okay, we got the retracement that we're looking for. It was a long, sharp one, but it turned back over. And now we're pushing to the upside here. All right, so we'll look for price to continue long, matching the extension here at 177,830. Okay, so got a ways to go here. Got some more fibs to form, right? 710 pips to the upside is that target. Okay, so beautiful deep retracement into the sweet spot, long. Okay, this was my original play here, right? 786 retracement. We hit that D extension, but I was looking for a longer projection there. So we got the new fib to form. That D extension is in line with where I was looking for price to go. So we got price on the move. Okay. So that's the 4 hour. Coming down to the 1. Here's your 80-20 scenario. Shallow retracement. Took its time getting into that 118, 127 zone. Boom. All right. Now we're headed back to the upside. Okay. So headed long on the 1 hour, got to TP1, headed to TP2, right? The longer term projection headed to the upside. Questions on this pound CAD? Nope. All right, cool deal. Pound Aussie. So here on the daily, right? Shallow retracement. We push into the 118, 127 zone, got a pullback here. And we're pushing long, right? Pushing long. So we'll see how far we can go, right? Bullish on the pound, right? They expected increased interest rates. Data is coming in a little bit mixed, but inflation is still pretty hot. So looking for price to potentially continue long here. Also with that data came out last night on the Aussie. That's where we get this push here, right? So we got a 50% retracement, matching the extension is here at 194,700. Okay, so looking for price to continue to the upside here, right? Got some work to do to break this level here. Let me do this real quick. Daily resistance there. Okay. So got some work to do to the upside, but matching the extension is here at a 194,591. Right. So pushing long here off that support level, right? Headed to the upside. Coming down to the 1. Got a 50% retracement here. Matching the extension 196, right? So on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, you got a deeper matching extension that we could hit at some point with a bullish pound, right? So got some work to do again to break these levels, but ultimately looking for price to get to 196 for 948, right? So we'll monitor this to see. We got to break the cloud here. Got to break the cloud and a retest, and we're pushing long. Right, so let's see how far we go here as we approach these resistance levels to the upside. Okay, so ultimately long, looking for these levels to be achieved as we go. Questions on the pound Aussie? Nope. All right, cool deal. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? All right, sweet. So good people, right? Be patient, be patient, be patient. Allow for your confirmations to be hit. And then pull the trigger, right? But we know we got a lot of data coming out this week. So we want to ensure that we sit and we wait to see what happens during that time, right? And we look to see if that reaction pushes price into our sweet spot, all right? Into the zones that we trade. Right, we don't want to anticipate, we don't want to guess, we want to wait to see what happens, to see where price goes once that data comes out, and once there's a reaction, and then we look for the potential reaction to the reaction if price gets pushed into our zone. All right, so Benny, anything before we close out, bro?
No, sir. Great session. Look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session.
Good deal, appreciate you. All right, good people, you have a phenomenal Wednesday. We'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Peace.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.